Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
It's also vice versa.
Yes.
I think so. If you live long enough.
I'll come to you on
And
yes.
we've come full circle. No, there's something he said that. No, there's something about flawed foundation. And I agree. Quotes, because in 2010, 2011, that was nothing. And there's also vice versa.
Yeah.
I think so. It's even be a foundation for us to build up. And I commend come full circle. Former there was something he said that you can't build on a flawed foundation. Yeah. And I agree. Because in 2010, 2011, that was nothing. It was nothing for it to even be a foundation for us to build up. I commend the former Minister of Communication, Ursula, for the role she played and how far at least we came to get a certain system in place. I will also never, in fact, it's one of my proudest moments as a young politician to actually know somebody whose ideas and vision plays out. Ghana Card, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said it 10,000 times over that he would prefer that to any other thing as far as our development was concerned. Because you cannot underplay the importance of a single source document. Today, he's sitting here talking about how the inconvenience is limited. Why is it limited? Because somebody took a bold step. When it comes to national registration, just like they did with free SHS, we started it. There was a modicum of improvements and what? Nothing as compared to what we were able to do. Again, he criticized Ursula for weak enforcement and data consistencies. He agrees here, at least with the text message that was read as well, that in their own audit, I believe at NIA, 80% of the data that was captured, in which they are vetted, was actually good.
No, that's not what I said.
That's
okay,
not.
so 80% of the data is what? What's
I said
out of the 80%?
80% of the data of the sample audit size went through as having been verified. However, when you did a further analysis, you then realized that of that 80%, there were ghosts or clone cards used to beat the system.
Okay, so
that 80% can be said to be good.
Okay,
so
but you have it.
Yes,
no, but at the end of the day, even with your 80%, you still haven't told us how many ghost names exist for us to actually know what the real threat is.
Again,
no system is going to good. So that's the point I'm coming to.
You build on it.
You are building on a system. This facial recognition that he's talking about, this, for like the example he gave about two persons in his home whose face can unlock phones. When we think that facial recognition is actually another layer of security, the most incontrovertible fact is biometric thumbprints. God in his infinite wisdom gave all of us a unique one. There are several videos online, YouTube, about facial recognition not being 100% foolproof. So it cannot be that this re-registration exercise, and I'll say re-registration because when he says what we did wasn't a registration, there are several articles from you, 2012, 2022, 2021, even when we started registration, where you insisted that it should be voter ID card, knowing the problems we've had with the voter ID card, as compared to a Ghana card. So today we've advanced. I am not going to form a stubborn academy and call my friends to join hands, lock in step, to threaten the exercise he wants to do. But if others do it, I will not stop them. He, with the colleagues, some of them sitting in parliament now, decided to be an op in Owusu's life. When she was preaching progress, when the MPP was saying, this will help us see the benefits that Ghana card is bringing already, they were against it. Now, the justification for this, you can make our lives easier if at the back end, there's actually enough technology existing to solve these problems for us. In fact, you could even use AI. I bet you there's an AI prompt, be it Claude or whatever application that exists to cure all these problems.
Really?
It's possible. I'm saying that we should think through it. Because this inconvenience that he wants to downplay, that is not an inconvenience. I disagree.
Okay.
You are pushing, again, you said the registration before was flawed. You are pushing for a reset. What you are saying is a re-registration exercise. You've created the impression that we are not going anywhere to go and queue or whatnot, right? That we are not going to physically show up anywhere to do it. We're just going to take our phones and process. Please, again, previous government championed education. We've moved a bit further, but there are still some people who can't complete this process at home by themselves. There are whole families who will not be able to process this. So the activity you want to undertake will be impeded. There will be challenges. It is not too necessary as far as I'm concerned. Whatever shortfalls you believe exists now, you can do it without a registration exercise. So whatever team exists for him, whatever thinking process that went through, they have to sit down and look at it. Ghana card being linked to our SIM already exists. It does. Mm-hmm. These telcos, what they've been doing as far as this fraud and whatever is concerned is every 6 months, people lose their numbers if you're not using it actively, right? It's been happening. If you're not using your numbers actively, the telcos dismiss it. So as we speak, there's some sort of corrective mechanism as far as people's usage of their SIM cards are concerned. And Ghana card is linked to it. We've moved forward. Sam George, make it easier for Ghanaians by using your backroom operations, whatever exists, to cure this problem. I don't believe it's that big of a problem. Again, you mentioned diplomats and foreigners and all that. It was captured in the last registration. The document exists. Unless there's some challenge to that, I don't think it necessitates a re-registration. Please, let me
they have a special Ghana card.
They have a special Ghana card.
That they should have used.
So it cannot be one of the reasons why this has to be done.
That's what's going on.
That's why I said we're working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I want her to finish so that if she's done, I can address the issue she's raised.
We can't. I don't see the necessity. We've moved ahead. There's a database in place. It has its flaws here and there, but let's correct it. It's not for us to go through a whole process. It's not like we are going to get a new ID card. We are not. Even newborns are getting captured at birth or babies. So this re-registration exercise, what are we going to do? With a 4-month-old baby, with a 1-year-old toddler. We are going to be using facial recognition for 6 months old who... I'm sure your son...
Your 6-month-old is going to have a mobile phone?
No, your 6... I'm saying... No, but if you are capturing... At what age are you capturing them? Because if you are capturing...
for SIM card owners.
Okay, so SIM card owners...
So is your 6-month-old going to have...
Minors have phones.
Your 6-month-old?
I said, no, I'm saying... I'm giving an example of face changing. Okay, you can hop on that to make your point.
No, but the point is, if you register the SIM,
at what age are
you not going to come back again and register subsequently.
Everybody, you said you are going to have a database of facial recognition for everybody.
Akosua,
is it to do with the SIM?
If the person is a 5-year-old,
my point again is that every 6 months the telcos correct that problem of people using SIM cards.
That's not correct.
They've stopped doing that.
That's not correct.
They've stopped doing that because I know that if you don't use your SIM card over a period of time, it goes off.
We're not talking about inactive SIMs. We're talking about even active SIMs and being able to identify who is using the active SIM. Okay. So you're talking about two different things here.
So now you want to cure fraud. You want to cure fraud majorly. That's your concern. Is that what it is? Because the justification for a re-registration exercise, for me, is not convincing enough. Okay. There are ways to cure this. It's not necessarily going through, forget, how do you call it, young kids and facial recognition and all that. You can throw that away. But going through that tedious process is not tenable. To me, it's not convincing for me. Because the process, the hard work that had to be done, he opposed it. The work that he has to do is easier than what we did. So he should find a way to cure it. Yes. And not necessarily putting everybody through a whole process again. I'm not convinced
that the process will be seamless.
No, I'm not convinced that we need a re-registration exercise.
Okay.
I'm not. Because if I'm thinking about Sam George 4 years ago and Esther making this case, he would have gone ape, forget the word, but you know the American expression. He would have lost it and jumped from station to station and would be firing on his social media with lion images. We've moved. The person who you said couldn't achieve it has made sure that we have a single source document, which is so powerful, it makes work easier. So find a way. You are young enough, you are smart enough, find a way. At least we know that when it comes to creating chaos, you are good at it. But find a solution. You need to find a solution to this one. And it's not to no, I'm saying so because you see
you could have said this without necessarily
okay,
having
I
to
take
go
it back. But when I sit here and I realize what Sam George put Ursula through, he knows what he put Ursula through. If I'm sitting here, I'm seeing what the few men in politics, when they get to a certain level, the sort of vitriol and hate and whatever comes their way, and what he in particular puts her through. But again, she achieved something monumental. So do something without necessarily getting all of us.
Monumental and the same fraud is still ongoing.
So let me just address that.
You've raised some issues.
There'll always be there. There'll always be some sort of fraud.
It is.
Yes. Ti some do so do no so be kasa na eja no so nim. Some do eja no so de be man ti ono so side no.
Fine for you to oppose the process or not be convinced by it. It's fine.
I'm going by.
It's fine.
I'm going by the blueprint you
but you
laid
know
out
the
for us to follow.
facts are not sentimental. Facts don't care whose ox is God. They are facts. First and foremost, you said I put Ursula through. You said I went ape on Ursula. Fine. Take all my press engagements and all my social media posts. Everything I complained about that process, many of them were also complained about by Manu.
Manu is not the minister now.
Oh,
you are the minister.
Oh, wait. Fantastic. And that is why today that I am the minister, I am walking my talk and fixing Ursula's flaws. You can't expect me to come and say that because she's a woman. I keep saying, look, this whole business
It's
of
not
she's
because
a woman.
she's a woman.
She's
I'm
gone
saying
here.
that. I am saying that she doesn't have the benefit.
We would celebrate women. We would
But you have
celebrate
done
women
things
not
and said
because
things.
of their gender, but because of their competence. When we celebrate Marietta Brew for winning the Itlos case, it's not because she was a woman. It's because of her legal prowess and competence.
Then will it be fair
And
to
so
conclude that
when you want us to celebrate,
will it be fair to
you
conclude
ask
that you are
some
incompetent?
questions.
If you are saying that you
asked some
celebrate,
questions.
no,
I
he
think
just
that-
said something. You didn't correct it.
no,
You didn't
hold on,
correct
hold on.
it. He said you
Let's not
celebrate
get
women
scared.
if they are competent,
you asked
suggesting
some
that
questions.
Ursula is not competent. But here he sits on a database that she championed and at least worked on.
Would you have her
No, you have to call that. You need to take that back.
Okay,
That's
you
not
know
fair.
what?
You said you were sitting and I was being a bit too harsh. Ursula is not
hold
here.
on,
He
hold
said,
on.
and again, that one you are quiet. Jampo is okay.
Okay,
He's
so-
quiet. He wasn't. Oh, the minister is sitting here. So
Why are you
he's
inviting
looking the other way.
No.
But again,
You finished. You have made your point.
unfair.
I don't think that.
If you are saying that, no, if you're saying that championing women, look, at the end of the day, at the barest minimum,
you have made your point. You
this
asked
woman's
questions.
letter, the
You
letter
asked questions.
refutes
Thank you.
claims that you made.
Thank you very much.
That you yourself
Yes.
has spoken
Alfred.
to, parts of which you have agreed.
I repeat the
You will
point.
not sit here and insult
We
me.
will celebrate public office holders, whether they are men or women, not because of their gender, but because of their competence. The reason why Ursula put this country through a SIM registration between 2021 to 2023 was to get us biometrically verified using the NIA's database for a SIM card. Did she achieve that? Her own statement says no. So if you were set out with one goal in sight, we would not reward attempts. We will reward results.
You have nothing
So
to show for
Ursula
it. You have nothing
made
to show
an
for
attempt.
it.
You want us to celebrate attempts?
What have
We
you
won't celebrate
done?
attempts.
Well,
Data
let's go to the
price-
other issue.
charges are still
Today we are rolling out a new system. The result of our system will determine if tomorrow some judge will get applause for his results or whether I will also be castigated for my attempt. I am confident that working with the fine minds at the NCA and NIA and all the allied institutions we have today, we will deliver results to Ghanaians and not attempts. It is because Ghanaians were not comfortable with attempts that they changed government. And so this government will not do an attempt. We will solve it. But again, like I said, facts are not sentimental. Facts are facts. Let us be clear. Dr. Bawumia did not introduce the Ghana card.
It's not about
I'm going to read a story from Graphic Online by Zainabu Issa, dated October 9th,
You don't have to bother.
2014.
Waste of time.
National identification cards to be ready November 2015. And when you read the story, you realize that the contract for the issuance of Ghana cards preceded Dr. Bawumia becoming vice president. So when you sit here and want to look at this point in time, you will tell us that Dr. Bawumia was responsible for the Immaculate Conception of Mary.
No.
Because everything in this country is Dr. Bawumia, except the one thing we place in his hand, the economy. Everything that happened well in this country. In fact, before the birth of Christ, the Immaculate Conception of Mary was done by Dr. Bawumia, according to Akosua and the MP. However, the one thing we put in Dr. Bawumia's hand, the economy, it was tanked, it was crushed, it was made worthless. At a point in time, Ghana's currency was the worst performing currency in the world, behind the Zimbabwean dollar. He put Kwalugu down in his care to build. Did he build Kwalugu down? It's an issue. Look, you cannot sit here and pontificate. And like I said,
I will, and I'll call you out on it because there's evidence.
Okay, well, your
microphone is off. Like we said, yes, I'm responding. Like I said to Afejumakin at my vetting, that the vetting could not be used to whitewash President Akufo-Addo's record. No amount of white paint, be it Savannah or Coral, would change our recollection of Dr. Bawumia's failure when we put one thing in his care, the economy. The Ghana card was not Dr. Bawumia's creation. And look, let me just say, as minister, I am too responsible to take the suggestion of Akosua to take Claude or any such AI tool and run it through my national biometric database. Do you know who owns that software?
I don't care. I'm saying that do not inconvenience Ghanaians.
You say you don't care. I should take an American Department of Defense solution and go and run it through our national AI database. This is the kind of policy thinking that we have from the NPP.
Okay. So you don't hold on.
This is the kind of policy thinking we have from the NPP.
And dismiss the work of somebody whose shoulders you are standing on.
I'm not standing on anybody's shoulders.
Gentlemen,
you apologize to her at the very least. That you are standing in the ministry. What you see at the ministry,
she failed
that you are walking around like you are wearing a bulletproof vest to Lord over Ghanaians is her work as well.
In the end,
you ask questions. You don't sit here and
you ask questions which you were expecting some responses to. The other question that's outstanding is how you would address the technology literacy gap, so that
we should have done more technical stuff.
And that's why we said, when I responded to you, I said that we have a USSD option as well.
Good.
For persons who do not have smartphones, today, because of the preponderance of mobile money, people are used to USSD processes. Okay, so they go through the USSD process, and then they would then do the facial recognition bit via the mobile teams. That's why I said that we're rolling out mobile teams in all of this, in especially largely rural communities. They're also able to go to our CICs or our post offices and have the biometric capture done for them. But the base documentation information, which is their Ghana card details and all, are done by USSD. So we've taken into consideration all demographics. Whether you have smartphones or you have feature phones, there is a process that has been outlined for you. And we're going to ensure that we will do this with our rural folks, because again, I keep saying, Kofi, the people who are most vulnerable, who fall victim to Sister Nye Mifrefi lending, are rural folks, and they're the ones we need to protect the most.
Okay.
And so we are making sure that the system is not agnostic to demographics. And so that's why I said this policy, we've taken our time, we've reviewed all the processes that happened in 2010, in 2021 to 2023. We've looked at all the money policy papers and all the other policy papers that were issued by other CSOs. I've handed that. That's why, Kofi, I spoke about re-registration at my vetting. It's been over a year. I haven't come out yet on it. Because for a whole year, we took our time to study what went wrong and find out what is the most practical solution to it. Okay. I would not rush into this.
So why did you send us those thinkers the early days?
No, because somebody claimed that I had single-handedly awarded the contract. Meanwhile, I have now written to finance for commitment authorization.
No, but sometimes manage your.
Thank
Oh no, so, but you don't make, and that's why, Kofi, I challenged your colleague at Manu that I will resign if you could show. And how many public officers, have been able to take such a principled stand as me? That I will resign if you can show. Because Kofi, yes, I'm a public officer, but coming from, Kofi, you see, civil society also has responsibilities. You, as a civil society organization, cannot make an allegation that a minister of state has breached the president's code of conduct by single-handedly picking a company, directing that company should be given a contract, and have sole sourced and awarded the contract at a point in time when I had not even written to the finance ministry for commitment authorization. That was irresponsible on the part of social society, civil society. And so you cannot say that when you make such a categoric allegation, I should keep quiet. I will have to defend myself.
I am simply saying,
please, Dr. Bob, let's
tone down on the energies.
Formalize our economy. That's fact.
Okay.
Somebody is sitting at the Jubilee House that has been taxed to implement a 24-hour economy. It's been a year and 3 months. There's nothing. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia at
there is nothing.
And we know, and it is internationally recognized for that.
Debi kama amena PENDREAM TV ase na so far so good say open online portal e wo Ghana nipa share nipa follow nipa comment here to my best of knowledge without any biases PENDREAM TV.